Hello, everyone. Welcome to Token Takes On. No. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everyone beyond and in between, I am not liking this intro. Okay, forget the intro. We're just going to jump right into it. Seis Manos is a new Netflix animated series produced by Powerhouse Animation, which has also produced the beautifully made Castlevania. So the story revolves around three orphans, Isabella, Silencio, and Jesus, who have been raised by Sifu Chu in a small Mexican town known as San Simon. Now each of them of course have a horrific backstory, because you can't have orphans without tragedy. Isabella is the most level-headed of the group, often acting as the mediator or the diffuser. She's also the most devout when it comes to the philosophical teachings of Sifu Chu. Silencio is the constantly angry, bent on revenge one, so he's of course the best fighter and can never really get down the philosophical teachings because of all the chaos in his heart, and never actually does. And finally you have Jesus, who is the little brother and pretty much just does little brother things. So the story begins when a crazy man attacks Sifu while the three are gone. While Sifu Chu does an admirable job putting the maniac down multiple times, he discovered it has the power to heal all of its injuries. So eventually Sifu Chu is overpowered and killed. Now, if you've ever watched Jackie Chan Adventures growing up, you will absolutely love this show. Not just because the art style is very similar, but the comedy beats, the narrative structure, the fight direction, it all is very reminiscent of Jackie Chan Adventures. I thought this show was so great that I had to stop being an introvert for 10 minutes to post a video about it on the internet. I wanted to figure out what kind of system of recommendation I can give. Did I want to do a number out of 10 or do a grade system? But I don't think any one can really deeply describe how good or bad a show is, because sometimes we watch different things for different reasons. You can enjoy Lincoln, the Daniel Day-Lewis movie, as much as you enjoy Abraham Lincoln, the Vampire Hunter, but you won't enjoy them, with the same mindset. So here's what I do. I'll give my opinion on what I think works and my opinion on what I don't think works. And I'll wrap it all up in a conclusion. If you agree, it's great. If not, it's even better. Either way, we can talk about what works for you. The foundation of what attracted me to Seis Manos was the nostalgic factor. Seeing the art style and classic kung fu fighting took me back to Saturday mornings watching Jackie Chan Adventures, and even renting movies on the weekend and marathoning a whole bunch of kung fu movies when I was a kid. For me, the most interesting thing is how much they lean into the kung fu theme, not only with the fighting, but the aesthetics of the animation as well. They create a show as if it were a 70s kung fu film, but placed in Mexico. They even have the show run like it's created in an old film reel, complete with the occasional cue marks and the grainy dots and lines that are accustomed to older films. In certain episodes, they will even animate the film reel itself. I think the voice acting was great. It really felt like they knew what they were doing. And Danny Trejo did amazing as the antagonist. And sometimes I even forgot it was him. And I wasn't surprised that he was in this, because you can't really do anything Mexican related without Danny Trejo showing up as a bad guy. He's a hardworking man, and he did an incredible job. I thought the story was pretty interesting. I didn't expect them to dive so deeply into the supernatural. I think the musical score was great. I think it created the perfect atmosphere for scenes, whether they were intense fighting scenes or the more somber, quiet scenes. The fighting was definitely my favorite. I think the juxtaposition of the supernatural versus the natural made the realistic things feel more poignant for me. A lot of people die in the show, like a lot. And it does make you feel bad because they don't seem to be fodder to move the story along. We get to see the consequences of the deaths and how it changes both the people and the dynamics of the town. The fight scenes are just a masterpiece. Being a fan of old kung fu movies, like I said before, I felt personally validated. The fighting is smooth and deliberate. There's an understanding of skill and power of each strike. You can even tell the difference between the intent of each strike among the siblings. Because Silencio is always angry, his heart is always in chaos, and so his hits are very intentional. So intentional, in fact, that he pretty much kills everybody he fights. Isabella is the core. She keeps everybody grounded, so her hits typically culminate into a bigger strike. And Jesus is the best homage to Jackie Chan ever. Definitely don't think it's a coincidence that he's a drunken master. So as we begin talking about the characters, I think there is some weakness when it comes to the characters. I do believe that their dynamic works well. I do believe that they're siblings. They talk and they bicker and they act like they're real relatives. But they don't develop them very well. Maybe it's because they are saving a lot for season 2. But as I expected, we learned more about Silencio than Isabella or Jesus. Though Isabella and Jesus drive the plot pretty much for the whole season, everything seems to be set up for Silencio. We get to know his backstory. We know how and why he became so bent on revenge. He does this really cool going gray thing when he gets more upset, which I think is it's a nice little character trait. It would have been nicer if after they showed it the first time, it just kind of was a background thing, incrementally changing. But every time it happens, it does focus on that. But for Isabella, we don't know how she became an orphan. We don't know what drives her to be more devout in Sifu's teaching. We don't know anything about Jesus either. I would have been very interested in seeing why, despite having the same master, they all develop completely different fighting styles. Fighting styles, I think, definitely goes with their personalities. But like I said, we never learn how they developed them. Specifically Jesus. Since he's a drunken master, I'm wondering at what age was he throwing back tequila shots to train. So I just think that was a missed opportunity. I'm also a little bit at odds with the dynamic between Garcia and Brister. They both have a bit of an arc. In fact, I think they probably have a bigger arc than most of the characters in the show, specifically Brister, who comes in very pompous, very sexist, complaining about discrimination because it's set in like the 70s. And he ends up understanding that the way he's treating Garcia, who of course is a female police officer, is the same way his white bosses or white people happen to treat him. But they kind of get close really quickly. Like the first 2 episodes, they're bickering back and forth, and by the end of the 3rd episode, they're like buddy cops. I do appreciate the dynamic of conversation that they have about discrimination and being able to see things from another person's point of view in order to really understand yourself. I just think their relationship developed really fast. As I wrap this up, I want to leave you with this. There's been a lot of outrage over the past few years about representation and diversity. And well, there's really been a lot of outrage about everything, but that's another video. I hope this series inspires other writers, directors, producers, and whoever to look outside of industry standards. I think Hollywood has a bad habit of doing the same thing over and over just for money, or trying to put a token minority, but we have some incredible people out there that take an authentic approach to their art, to their writing. And every time those people create something, it goes beyond diversity or representation. If we choose to look at ourselves as pieces of a whole, as ingredients distinct in our own cultural flavor, but complementary in the taste in an organic and natural way, then I think we can create masterpieces, unmatched, unfiltered, and timeless. Who would have thought a Mexican 70s era kung fu narco-esque supernatural anime could be so good? That got a little bit more sentimental than I wanted. So before the streaming wars destroy everything we know and love, and we go back to pirating stuff, I say catch Seis Manos as soon as you can. Anyhow, my name is Token. Thank you for watching. This has been Token's take on anime. Somebody's gonna be really mad that I keep calling Seis Manos anime.
金もない学もない先行きすら真っ暗いこの街に生まれ落ちた時点で未来なんてない光はあるのかそりゃどこかにはあるかもでも未だ迷子迷路どの道を行けど曲がり角割れた窓なく赤子の声が響くこのゲトマジヘドが出るぜ俺ら飛び出すその先へとだけど未だ抜け出すことできないまるで卵の殻に閉じ込められてるよな真っ暗闇
暗闇暗がりそこら中にジャンキーそらシラフじゃいられないし皆が疑心暗鬼あれも罠これも罠ならばまずは守らなきゃな自分の